What's going on, everybody? The New York Knicks just beat up on the Washington Wizards. They are one step closer to clinching a top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. Here, joined by Chris, as always. Got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Let's do it.
Run that intro.
They're playing basketball.
Basketball.
You're listening to the Knicks Nation podcast, where we've got all your Knicks needs covered.
Puts up a three. Bang! Bang! He ties the game!
Now, live from the city that never sleeps, here are your hosts, Anthony and Chris.
What is going on, Knicks Nation? We are back doing another podcast, episode 101 of the Knicks Nation podcast. Appreciate every single one of you. Once again, thank you for giving us your time on this Sunday evening. Spotify, Apple, please leave us a review. YouTube, what's going on, fam? Really appreciate every single one of you guys in here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on subscribe. All the good stuff. Chris, what is going on, my good sir?
Not much. Ready to talk some Knicks. You know, had a couple games that were not what you wanted. And then we had a get right game, right? Versus the Wizards. I'm feeling all right all in all. Obviously, you know, some stuff we'll get into. We saw some Tyler Kolek. Finally. But Ant, how are you doing tonight, man?
Finally got to see some Tyler Kolek. I'm good, man. Today's gonna be a chill episode. Just talking Knicks, and you guys can chime in the chat as well. Just depending which direction you want to take this, Chris. Just one of those episodes. Look, the season's winding down. You only have 12 games remaining. The magic number for the New York Knicks to clinch is 3. And I believe they have an 89% chance of being the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. So they are probably going to win 50 games this season, if not 49. I mean, if you take a look at their schedule, obviously you have the Cleveland Cavaliers, Celtics in there, but you don't know if they're going to be playing for anything by the time you play them. But yeah, man, I mean, good win against the Wizards, right? I mean, you needed that one after the rough past 2 games that you had, and
yeah,
Tom Thibodeau woke up. He woke up.
Yeah. I mean, look, is it more that he woke up, or is it just he kind of had no choice because, you know, Deuce McBride was out and now we finally get Tyler Kolek. But you know what? Better late than never, right? Better late than never. And he showed some playmaking chops. Granted, I know it was the Wizards, but, you know, I like what I saw out of Tyler Kolek out there.
I did too. Appreciate you guys in the chat. This Rover Tony, what's going on? Yeah, look, the news is that Deuce McBride is going to be out for a couple of games due to a groin strain. And you figure, where the heck did he pick up that groin strain? I know he got kneed pretty hard in the groin during the game versus the Hornets. So you figure, is that where he got injured? But it's been reported that he's going to be out for a couple of games. Chris, and here comes Tyler Kolek, your rookie that you drafted in the second round, that you paid the most guaranteed money for a second round pick, Chris, by the way. Traded up for him too, right? If I'm not mistaken, in the second round, targeted him. Hasn't played meaningful minutes since January, and he plays. Look, I get it, it's the Wizards, but Chris, I thought he looked great. Like, I really thought he looked great. Obviously, he's fresh. He's a point guard, man, and sometimes that just saying that, especially with JB down, he's a point guard, man. I love what we saw from Kolek, Chris. About damn time.
Yeah, exactly. It's about damn time. And look, would we have seen Kolek if Deuce McBride was still out there? I don't know. That's no. We'll never know, unfortunately. But, you know, I'd like to think that maybe, you know, Tom Thibodeau heard some of the chatter out there and whatnot. But look, Tyler Kolek went out there, and again, I know it's against the Wizards, one of the worst teams. But I mean, look at what happened with Charlotte and San Antonio, right? That's why I'm like, look, it's something, right? Tyler Kolek went out there and he showed that he could run the offense a bit. And that playmaking gift that he has seems to be real, man. He was finding guys, dishing the rock well. And he looked the part, man. He looked the part. And I want to see more Tyler Kolek out there, man. I mean, look, there's been games where Campaign hasn't had it. There's been games when Deuce McBride hasn't had it. We've always said, why not? It can't look any worse with Tyler Kolek, right? Now he goes out there, he gives you 7 assists in one half. I mean, come on.
Quarter.
You gotta reward the Rook and give him some more minutes.
Yeah. Tony says Chris better be rocking a Kolek jersey. It better not be an Eddie Curry jersey. Man, Eddie Curry. Nah, it's not an Eddie Curry jersey.
Damn.
But appreciate you guys in the chat. We got trivia at the end as well. I think it's a little bit of a layup for Chris. Has to do with Linsanity. Hoping we get a little bit of that with Tyler Kolek. I'm being dramatic, but yeah, look, you have 12 games left, Chris. It's March 22nd. It's to me, it's unfathomable why he hasn't played until January. And look, Dibs is a smart guy. He's stubborn. He's really stubborn. Those of you in the chat know where I stand on that. I've hopped on the train, Chris, but we just have to wait and see what happens in the playoffs. But it's about damn time he plays Kolek, right? I mean, he's like Ed Santana says in the chat. He's a floor general. Great vision, most assists in a half since Marty Collins back in 2007. That was 18 years ago. Him and Mikal Bridges seem like they have a chemistry. I even saw the rotations on switches defensively seem like the communication was great on that front. 3 steals in that game, all in one quarter. So obviously defensively they're gonna hunt him, but the upside, I think, for Kolek is tremendous. And look, that's not me being dramatic. And I know a lot of Knicks fans, I've seen it like, he's supposed to earn these minutes, and Tom Thibodeau knows best, and this and that, yada yada yada. Let's pump the brakes. Let's take a step back, Chris. This Knicks team lost their captain in Jalen Brunson, right?
Yep.
As soon as Jalen Brunson went down, Tyler Kolek should have been playing. As soon as Brunson went down, you needed a floor. You needed a point guard out there. Look, Deuce has had good games. Now he's hurt again, so Kolek is definitely going to play. But you needed a floor general. Now you have Tyler Kolek, and you spent. Look, you guaranteed. It's not crazy money, but you gave him all this guaranteed money, most in NBA history, for a second-round pick, and he showed you in one game, and quite frankly, he's been doing that in spurts this season when he has gotten opportunities. He played against the Wizards early on in the season. He was playing against, I think he played against the Nets one game, and we just haven't, Chris, January 1st, New Year's Day. I said it in a video that I made about Kolek. A lot has happened since January 1st in the world, in the NBA. It's crunch time. You got to keep these guys fresh. You're locked up in the 3rd seed, and I'm just hoping that we will definitely see Kolek more. And now with Deuce out, I think you're going to see that.
Yeah, definitely with Deuce out. I mean, you kind of have no choice, right? Because at this point, you need bodies to play. But yeah, I mean, a bit of my frustration, like you mentioned, Jalen Brunson went down. We definitely thought we were going to see 5-10 minutes of Tyler Kolek or something like that. See what you got. See what you got off that bench. A bench that's, especially at that time, was already very weak, and you just didn't have any type of contribution off that bench. So that was part of my frustration. It's like, play some of these guys, see what you got. I mean, look, going back to the Charlotte game, you had guys that the Knicks traded. Daquan Jeffries. You had Mamadi Diaku, or what, I can't even pronounce his name, but you had these guys playing for Charlotte, playing a game that's not even meaningful for them, and they're showing up the Knicks starters, but you don't know what you got unless you put them on the floor and see. Again, I'm not saying start, our bench players over our starters or anything like that, but, it's nice to see Tyler Kolek get out there and actually show you something that probably could have been happening since January, and he could have been, gaining valuable experience that could help us, down the stretch. But
there you go. There you go.
That's my biggest thing. That's my biggest thing about it.
I noticed in last game, what's going on loud and clear, see you in the chat. I noticed last game, Rick Brunson was really playing that Johnny Bryant role. He was really getting up, getting in Thibs' ear. He pretty much told Tom Thibodeau, all right, let's let this game is out of control. I mean, let's put the bench in, let's take out the starters. And so that's the role Johnny Bryant was playing, and we really haven't seen Rick Brunson do that this year, but we saw it last night versus the Wizards. So look, they got it done, Chris. They got it done. Great to see Kolek out there. Hope to see more. Like I said, the magic number is 3, ladies and gentlemen. It is 3. So any combination of whoever's in the 6 seed right now, the Pistons, if they lose and the Knicks win next game, the magic number is down to 1. So this week, you're assuming that the New York Knicks will clinch a playoff spot. And as it stands right now, they have an 89% chance on finishing the number 3 seed, if I'm not mistaken. So, there we go. 89% chance finishing the number 3 seed. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. So here is the playoff status. This is from playoffstatus.com. This is way too small. All right. So right here, it says Knicks 3 seed, 89% chance finishing, Chris. 9% chance finishing the 4th seed. 2% chance finishing the 5th seed. So the highest probability right now is Knicks Pistons, because the Pistons have an 80% chance to finish the number 6 seed, and the Knicks have an 89% chance to finish the number 3 seed. So obviously you got the Bucks there. Pacers still have they only have a 3% chance finishing the number 3 seed. This goes by strength of schedule. So yeah. Knicks Pistons, that's what it's lining up for, Chris. Knicks will probably clinch a playoff spot this year. Another playoff berth for you New York Knicks. That is a huge accomplishment. They probably will win 50 games. Huge accomplishment. Expectations, though. I mean, it's been a roller coaster of a season, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting to the point of the season where I'm just excited to watch Knicks playoff basketball, because it's just different basketball being played. It's a different game, if you know what I mean. And obviously, we have to hope that Jalen Brunson can return before then. I think he can. And we just have to hope for the best, because right now, as it stands, Knicks Pistons first round, and I think they could take care of that, Chris. I do.
I do too. I mean, that's gonna be a fun matchup. If that's the matchup that we end up getting, I mean, look, I know Detroit's been playing really well. They got young guys that are hungry. Cade is having a hell of a season. I'm happy to see him healthy, right? He's showing his potential out there. That's gonna be a fun series, especially if we get a healthy Jalen Brunson back and our guys stay healthy into that series. That's gonna be fun, But I can't lie. I got a little bit of a different vibe. Like you mentioned, this has been a roller coaster type of a season for the New York Knicks. And maybe I got spoiled the past few seasons where we were going into the playoffs, like scorching hot. And in this case, we're kind of like, kind of just limping our way into the playoffs. So, I am excited. Don't get me wrong. Playoffs is right around the corner. And obviously the Knicks have a good record, but I guess it's just the way it's looked as of late, for me, that I'm just like, all right, I need to see some improvement there, especially down this stretch.
Look, anytime you lose to the Spurs and the Hornets in back-to-back games, Chris, you're going to feel like that, right? And look, we don't have our captain, but you're still super talented, and you still should be able to beat those teams. And you damn near blew a 33-point lead to the Wizards.
I didn't want to bring it up, but yeah, that's part of it.
It's part of it, and it just hasn't. Look, I know you won big versus the Wizards. You did what you're supposed to do. I said it before the post game, Chris. Like, I really wasn't too hyped for that game, because a part of me just knew the Knicks were going to win that game, and But when Deuce McBride got ruled out, look, I'm not. I hope Deuce McBride is healthy. I was intrigued to watch Tyler Kolek, and obviously he put on a show. And look, it was the Wizards. I get it, but it's a good step in the right direction when your rookie plays well. No matter if it's the Wizards or the Lakers or the Bucks or like this is building block for him. So magic number is 3, Chris. Cleveland has already clinched. Celtics have already clinched the top 6. Knicks magic number is 3. Pacers 6. Bucks 7. Pistons 8. So how it's lining up, the New York Knicks are look, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to probably face the Pistons, and a lot can change over these next couple of weeks, right? 12 games. You say that we're kind of limping. Well, we could go on a 13-game winning streak, Chris, to close out the season, and then everyone's minds is changed, right? But
I mean, that would be amazing. That's what you want, right? You want to go into the playoffs with a little bit of, positivity. Obviously, you don't want to be, if for instance, if we were going into the playoffs after this Wizards game, I would be like, I don't know how to feel. I wouldn't know how to feel, especially the way those games played out. But it's true. Look, we can get hot. We can go on a streak. Hopefully Jalen Brunson his return is soon, and we can get him back out there on the court and ready for the playoffs. And then from there, it's, the best team. May the best team win, right?
Exactly. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Isaiah says, in the playoffs is basically a new season. Let's go Knicks. We need a reset, and the playoffs is just that. Tony says, first round, we facing the Bucks and then Cavs and then Celtics. Cavs fall into the second seed. A lot can change. That could happen. I doubt it, but that could happen. Cleveland's on a 4-game losing streak. Well,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Are they playing today?
Four-game losing streak for the first time, I believe.
Yeah, so a lot can happen. Don't know if they're playing right now, but Johnson says, sorry to say, but it's a dream. But it's a daydream to say Eastern Conference Finals, which means Knicks could win Celtics. What's going on, Johnson? Creed says we are a second-round exit. Eddie says Detroit moves the ball well. Loud and Clear says, is Kolek better running the offense or is Deuce? Crim's dad says Cavs won today. So, yeah, Cavs got back on track. Look, what's going on, Keith? The Knicks just have to build good habits, Chris, heading into the playoffs and have to get their captain back. And let's say the Knicks, we play with Pistons first round. We sweep them. Or we win in 5. You mean to tell me a lot of Knicks fans are not going to be like, okay, we look good. We're shooting well. Let's bring it, Boston. Bring it. I know a lot of people are going to be like, all right, we're probably going to get waxed. But you never know what can happen, man. I mean, I just don't want to say the Knicks are a second-round exit because you never know. Like, things change in a blink in the playoffs, man. This player gets injured here. This player gets injured there. Knicks get hot. But I'm just excited to watch it, Chris. I am.
Yeah.
And
look, playoffs is a whole nother animal, right? You could have the most amazing regular season. But look, if we do get matched up with a Detroit, a lot of these guys, this is their first taste of the playoffs, their first meaningful minutes in games that matter, right? Who's to say they show up? Who's to say they show up and they shine,
Yeah.
That's why I say if we got a healthy Jalen Brunson, look, I like our chances. It doesn't matter the team that's in front of us. We all know what JB can do in the playoffs.
We sound super optimistic right now. We're like, Knicks can go far, man. What are you talking about, finals? We sound like how we sound before the season. But look, the reality is this Knicks team is second. Like, the reality is, do I think they're going to be in the Celtics first? No. Like, they're not. But you got to go through things, man. You got to go through things. Right?
Look, am I going to love if the Knicks, we make it through, we match up with the Celtics or even the Cavs at that? Am I going to be thrilled with the matchup per se? I mean, no. I mean, realistically, look, we know what this team has been so far. But again, come playoffs, it's a different ball game. I think that's where, obviously, coaching matters. I think that's where Tom Thibodeau will shine. And we got some guys that, again, JB has proven what he can do. You'd hope a guy like Cat, who has playoff experience as well, will step up. Mikal Bridges, again, another guy who has playoff experience, will step up. You got OG Anunoby, which, look, he gave us a lot last year, right? Hopefully he's going to be healthy. You got Mitchell Robinson. I think we have a decent shot. I'm not going to sit here and say that we're going to win, we're going to beat the Celtics or anything like that, but even if we lost, if you lost in the second round, let's say to the Celtics, but you took 2 or 3, two games. I mean, are you really going to be upset with that, losing to the defending champions?
A lot of people won't, because like I've been saying, the obituary is already written. Like, people already wrote the obituary. But a lot of people just don't think we have a chance. And if it goes, like, if we win 2 games, Chris, even if we win 3 games in that series, that would be a positive in my opinion. And then in the summer, you take the summer to tune the bench. But it's all just. It's very fluent, Chris, but I'm just worried about the Pistons. Like, honestly, Eddie says we're way too optimistic about the Pistons in the chat. Tony Tone, what's going on, Tone? Playoffs is almost here. We need the captain back. I ain't going to sleep past my bedtime. Tony Tone, what's going on, Tone? Appreciate you in here. Simone says, are the Knicks the worst good team or the best bad team? Everyone finds something positive to say about every other team but us. It's true.
Yeah,
right.
That's the fact.
It's true. And what's going on, Yuri? I see you in the chat. Look, 12 games remaining. We're getting into crunch time, Chris. And I don't know. I feel like this Knicks team, I feel like there is a world where we can possibly push Boston, but everything has to go right. Everything has to go well. Tom Thibodeau can't be out-coached. Knicks have to hit their shots. Mitch has to be dominant. Our wing defenders have to be dominant. Bridges, Anunoby. Everything has to go well. You got to be perfect to beat the Boston Celtics, right?
Yeah.
It's a 7 games. It's not like it's a 7-game series. Every game is its own chapter. Every game is different. So, but a long way from that, though. A long way from that.
Yeah, that's all speculation right now. But but I agree. The playoffs it's a chess match. It's a chess match. You don't know what you're gonna get from game in to game out. But that's what makes it so captivating, right? And look, part of me wants to be. Part of me is extremely happy that the Knicks are in the position. Look, 3 seed almost clinched, 3 games to go to wrap that spot up. We should be extremely proud, but obviously with the expectations around this team, I think we gotta just take a step back and enjoy what we got for now. But it's hard not to speculate and look ahead. That's for sure.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for giving us your time. Just chopping it up, talking Knicks. Obviously, they came off a good win versus the Wizards. Almost blew the damn game, but they won the game. And, it's been kind of like a bumpy road lately, and then we're just talking things through. Tyler Kolek finally got some playing time. Shout out to Tyler Kolek. Shout out to Tom Thibodeau for giving Tyler Kolek playing time. Let's give it up for Thibs, ladies and gentlemen. Finally. Loud and Clear says, is Kolek better running the offense or is Deuce McBride better running the offense? Chris, I'll let you take a shot at that.
I'll be honest. I mean, we've only seen a little bit, but I think Tyler Kolek is a natural when it comes to running the offense. We saw it a bit against the Wizards there. And honestly, I thought we'd see, again, when JB went down, I thought we'd see some Tyler Kolek with Deuce McBride, mixed in there together. I mean, it's no secret. Deuce McBride plays off Jalen Brunson well, so why not see how it looks like with Tyler Kolek, right? Unfortunately, Deuce McBride is hurt, so we probably won't see that, going forward. But I feel like Tyler Kolek has the potential to run the team just as well, if not better, than what Deuce has done so far. And that's no shade on Deuce. I just think Tyler Kolek is more of that prototypical guard, point guard.
Agree. Prototypical point guard. Agree. I no shot at Deuce, but he's more of a catch and shoot guard, and that's his strength. Now, it doesn't preclude us from saying that he can't do it. We've seen in spurts that he can, but sometimes, like you saw, like yesterday versus the Wizards, Kolek has the skills to run an offense. Like sometimes just a simple pass, putting the basketball in your shooter's shooting motion. It's just little stuff like that you can't really teach. Yeah. He had a nice bounce pass to Mikal Bridges in the corner. He had a nice cross the court pass to Mikal Bridges in the corner that the ball landed right in his shooting motion. And then, like, it's little things like that you can't really teach. And Kolek, he had a nice slip pass to Mikal as well. Him and Mikal, I think he had 5 assists to Mikal in that second quarter. Seems like him and Mikal have formed the chemistry behind the scenes. And look, that's why we've been screaming, play the kid. You should have been playing him. Even though, like, let's say he plays next game and he makes mistakes. Like, I personally don't care. I just want him to play. I want him to go through this. I want him to grow. And, you know, he's just so gifted. I mean, you saw the basket underneath when he crossed up with Wizards defenders and then went right to left, went behind the back and caught the nice and one. And it's just, he's even skilled offensively. Is he undersized? Yeah, but, you know, who cares? Like,
yeah.
You need a point guard right now. Like, I don't know. This coach sometimes, Chris, I don't want to go down that path again.
No, I mean, look, it goes back to what I was saying about the Charlotte game. You had guys, you know, that the Knicks had,
bro,
Daquan Jeffries and
game,
whatnot.
That back-to-back in that Charlotte game where he went 8-man. I mean, those of you in the chat, you saw the post game when I went off on Thibs. It's go ahead.
Yeah, that was just I don't understand how you do that, especially seeing the body language, you know, early on and whatnot, and then you just, I mean, look, that there was some craziness. I mean, the precious minutes and whatnot. Again, I don't know what was going on that game. That game was like a shock to my system. But yeah, I mean, look, you got guys that couldn't sniff the court on the Knicks. Daquan Jeffries, for instance, was killing the Knicks. So, I mean, it just goes back to prove, like, sometimes you just got to give these young guys a chance. Give them a chance and let them see what they can do, especially when you know, all your guys are tired. You know, you're having all this travel. These guys are barely getting any rest, and it shows out on the court. Run these young guys out there. See, at the minimum, you're going to get energy, right? If they make mistakes, they make mistakes, but at least you got a chance to see what they're made out of.
I want to respond to Prezzi's comment in the chat. He said he is going through the same gauntlet like Deuce. Next season, he will be what we need. We keep talking about Thibs, this and that, but he plays the players when they need to be played. The last sentence right there, he plays the players when they need to be played. The game versus Charlotte, Prezzi, where the Knicks went to San Antonio from New York and just finished the West Coast trip, and the Knicks starters had no legs. If he plays the players that needs to be played, then he should have just went to the bench in that game and played the bench because your starters had no legs. So I know it's like a seniority system with Thibs, Chris. It's like a job, right? I mean, you go through the ranks. Rookie, you go through the ranks. It's a seniority system with Thibs, but I think a lot of fans are not realizing that it's kind of when you're depleted with kind of, you traded all your picks, your room for improvement to improve the bench is kind of like you don't really see a path to that. You can kind of tinker things here and there. So you need Kolek, you need Daddy A, you need Hook Porter, you need these guys to kind of develop and go through some things and go through some scars, battle scars, and hopefully they have a good career. So I know people just look at Kolek and Daddy A. Like Daddy, I think, is a next year project as well. But if you're down bodies, I'm not saying he should have been playing before the Brunson injury. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when Brunson got hurt, Thibs automatically should have went to Kolek. And especially in that back-to-back when there's no Mitchell Robinson because the Knicks are managing his minutes, you just stick with 8 And honestly, it's stupidity, if you ask me. But I get it, Chris. I get it. You got to go through the ranks. You got to. He's a rookie. You got to go through the ranks.
I mean, that's the thing about Thibodeau, right? It's not a secret. It's not like we don't know this is his MO, right? Obviously, the young guys have to earn it. They have to show without a shadow of a doubt that they're ready to get on that floor and play minutes for Tom Thibodeau coach team. I mean, that's no surprise to us, but it's just in the scenario that we were in. Like you mentioned, that game versus Charlotte, it was clear nobody had it out there.
Yeah.
Just see what they got. See what the young guys got. It's situations when we're down already, when we have a bunch of injuries. Don't shorten the rotation. Bring these guys in, see what they can do, and at least, get through the game, and then you kind of learn a little bit about what you got out there. It's what we see other teams do. They empty out their benches, these guys play, and they get reps, and they end up helping their teams down the stretch because those minutes matter. It's better for them to get like 5 minutes if they can, or rather than 30 seconds of like a blowout win where they can't really do much. But look, it's no surprise, and it's not really like we know what we're gonna get with Tom Thibodeau. Obviously, it's just sometimes you wish he wouldn't be as stubborn as he is, but
he is.
I get it. I get it too. Like I said, the rookies have to earn it, and we've seen that with whether you want to say Deuce McBride or even Emmanuel Quickly when he was on the squad, and Quentin Grimes even when he was on the squad. They had to earn it, right? They had to earn it.
Obi,
but when you're down,
the lottery pick, Obi.
That's right, Obi.
Let's not forget, Obi was here, and we were clamoring for Obi to get more playing time.
And never really got it. But at least he was on the floor. At least he did get on the floor some. But yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is when it comes to Tibbs. I mean, it's hard to argue with the man when all he's done is basically win for the most part. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you're down so many guys. You don't really have much of a bench, and and it feels like you're almost making it that much harder because obviously we're not going to have much of a bench going forward. It is what it is. Who we got is what we got now, right? Yeah. Until the next season, which I think honestly is what we need to work on for next season. Build that bench up.
Yuri in the chat supporting Tom Thibodeau. Look, I'm all for supporting the coach, man. I am. But it's you guys know where I line in, man. I mean, it depends how it looks in the playoffs, Chris. And I think depending how it looks, obviously we'll go down that path again after the playoffs and during the summertime. But this is not us bashing Thibs. It's just sometimes he just needs to evolve, and he has
adjustments.
This is
adjustments.
Him. This is him. It is what it is. It's him, and that's.
But I will say, I don't want. It's not like I want Tibbs to be fired. No, I'm probably, look, I've heard fire Tom Thibodeau all season long, basically, but I still think the New York Knicks can win with Tom Thibodeau. This season, let's see what we can do. But I think, look, I hate to say it, but this is year one, right? Year one, we added some major pieces. Obviously, the bench is going to need some work, but things still look promising to me going forward. It just depends on the moves we make. But again, I don't want to look too far ahead because this season is not over.
It's not. Appreciate you guys in here. Johnson says, remember how Cavs and Pistons changed after a coaching change. It's been 1 year with this group. It depends how it looks in the playoffs. And Leon and Thibs are close, man. Ron B says it's the end of the regular season and every team is exhausted. Look, 12 games left. What I want to see, Knicks wrap up the 3rd seed, Chris. If the Knicks clinch a top 6 seed, I know they want to get Jalen Brunson back out there because he's 4 games behind, being eligible from All-NBA, and I know he wants that. But I kind of want to see the minutes getting scaled back a little bit. Don't push it because you don't need these games. Obviously, you want to build good habits. But once you're clinched, once you're locked in the 3 seed, there's nowhere to go. There's no reason to push anyone. maybe that's when he can expand the bench a little bit and get guys rest, because once playoffs hit, it's go time. It is go time. So Simon says Thibs' stubbornness may cause us a quick exit in the playoffs. It's dependent. Chris, I mean, if the Knicks lose in the first round, I think you got to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Knicks do lose in the first round, I mean, I guess it depends on how it looks, right?
Which
is
we're
it
not
another is it another situation like versus the Pacers where we just started dropping like flies the past year, right?
Chris, it doesn't depend how it looks. If they
You
lose in the first round,
so?
no,
you don't think so?
That's a failure.
No, I mean, I think in my opinion, it depends. It depends how it looks. If it's a first round,
I disagree.
When it comes to Thibs,
yeah.
Wow.
If they lose in the first round to the Detroit Pistons, come on now.
If it's something that's out of his control, though.
What is out of his control?
Like, it's one thing to now, let's say we get matched up with Detroit Pistons and he gets thoroughly waxed and outcoached, and this team just, loses, gets 2 wins and loses I think that is more indicative of, all right, maybe we do need to change here because he got outcoached. But if you're telling me, God forbid JB goes down again, God forbid, let's say Mitch goes down or something like that, And that's what I was harking back to, the Pacers series and whatnot, the previous year where we started dropping like flies. And look, I still say we would have won that series if had those things not happened. But I think those are two very different scenarios where can you really put it on Thibs if lack of personnel being available was the cause? I think if you get outplayed and outclassed by a team in the playoffs, that's a whole different story, in my opinion.
In a drastic scenario like that, Chris, like if we drop like flies in the first round, and like obviously that's a pretty big excuse for not to beat the Pistons. But if we're fairly healthy, like even if one of our guys are down, like I still do think the Knicks are talented enough to beat the Pistons, even though the Pistons are 2-1 against us this season. Right. But it's JB Bickerstaff. Like I'm confident that Thibs outcoached them when we played the Cavs. And remember that series when we played the Cavs, Thibs outcoached him. So I'm not concerned about Thibs outcoaching Thibs not outcoaching JB Bickerstaff. But if the Knicks lose, just the optics of that, Chris, if the Knicks lose in the first round to the Pistons after all the moves we made, nah, man, something got to give, man. Somebody got to pay the price.
I do think that there would be, again, if it's like that and they lose and everybody stays healthy and it was just simply, the Knicks lost to the Detroit Pistons, I think it's worthy of the talk. That's for sure. Yeah. You'd have to at that point.
John says this channel is a bunch of Thibs glazers. Since when have we been glazing Thibs? See ya, John. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, like Yuri said. All right. So let's shift to OG Anunoby, Chris. OG Anunoby got some stats here from OG Anunoby, Chris. He has been like Ron B's. They're not losing in the first round. I don't think they're losing in the first round either, Chris. But it's a good conversation to have. So, OG Anunoby shots out the rim. Anunoby has attempted 55 layups this month. He has already attempted his most free throws in his career with 181. He's drawn the most shooting fouls in his career already with 94. The most he has drawn was in 2023 with 77. He has 107 dunks already. That's the most of his career. Chris, he's gone to the free throw line 181 times already. Most in his career. Anunoby, we're witnessing a career year from OG Anunoby, Chris, and no one is talking about it.
Yeah. I've mentioned it before. Like obviously we all know what OG Anunoby brings on the defensive end. When he's right, he's a demon out there. But offensively, man, look, the start of this season, he was on fire. He was showing us the new repertoire, taking the mid-range jumpers, pull-up jumpers, dunking, like you mentioned, 107 dunks, most in his career. I was surprised because it just seemed like every single play he was driving baseline and dunking the ball. But yeah, OG Anunoby he's been having a really good season, especially from an offensive standpoint. I mean, that's an area where obviously the Knicks wanted him to improve. Mm-hmm. And I think he's shown it. Like some nights, obviously he's been off here and there, obviously, battling some nagging injuries and things like that. But for the most part, he's been amazing. And now I saw recently he has the Jalen Brunson rip through on the drives now and starting to look a little bit like JB out there, with that rip through move. So
yes, sir.
He's getting creative. And that's good, man.
Anunoby, most free throws attempted in his career. And he's played I think he's 3 games away. I don't want to jinx it, but he's 3 or 4 games away from playing the most games he's ever played in his career since his rookie season. Wow. So he's been awesome. And the thing I love is that he's getting to the free throw line, as we just stated. 5 free throw attempts versus Washington. 4 versus Washington. 8 versus the Hornets. 3 versus the Spurs. 2, 9, 6, 8. So he's been getting to the free throw line a bunch this year, and especially in this month. He's playing downhill, Chris, and he's realizing that he is a 250-pound bull that no one can guard. Yeah. And he's using his body to go straight to the hoop, and defenders either are picking, all right, should I guard this man? Should I stay in front of him? It's tough when OG Anunoby's a tank coming full speed to the basket. And I know his layups this year have been inefficient. He's better off dunking because his layups this year, I think he's shooting like 42% on layups. It looks awkward at the rim, sort of.
It looks awkward, but he gets it done. I mean, you see it on the fast breaks when he has a 1-on-1 or even a 2-on-1. He'll go straight at his defender. As soon as he gives them that little bump, they go flying out of the picture, and usually it's either a dunk or a free layup for OG Anunoby.
Krim's dad says you guys are a bunch of OG Glazers on this channel. I'm out of here. I know he's probably joking, hopefully, but nah, he's having a career season, and I just wanted to shine some light on it because from 3, he's shooting better. I know he had that little funk, but last game he only missed 1. I know he had a little funk versus the Hornets and versus the Spurs. He was going through a little funk, but we're witnessing a career season from OG Anunoby. And defensively, you know what he can bring. And it kind of changed, Chris, in that Miami game down in Miami where he was just a beast beast defensively. Yeah. And he's important. Like, I'm getting flashbacks from the Philadelphia 76ers series and game 1 of the Pacers series where he just was phenomenal.
Shutting down Siakam.
He's so important to this team. And look, if we guard the Pistons, Chris, it's probably going to be him on Cade because Cade has the size. So not that he's going to shut down Cade, but
it's going to make life difficult.
There you go. So,
yep.
Shout out to OG, man.
Yeah, OG Anunoby. Look, it's Jalen Brunson, and then it's OG Anunoby, in my opinion. And then who would you have third in that hierarchy? Importance
on the team. Importance.
Would you go Cat?
So you say Brunson 1, Anunoby 2.
Yeah, I think it's clear from what we've seen since JB's gone down that JB is the number 1.
Yeah, he's the captain. He means everything.
I've always said, OG obviously is huge defensively, but now when you factor in the offense that he's bringing as well, I say number 2.
the easy answer is to say Cat, right? But I could argue it could be Mikal. I can argue when Mikal's shots are falling, this team is just a different basketball club. I think the Knicks, when he's shooting, when he scored 25 points in a game, they've only lost. I think it's like 22-5 or something like that. Sorry, I don't have the statistic in front of me, but when Mikal's hitting his shots, like, this offense is unlocked, and he's been going through a funk lately, but I would honestly say Cat, Chris, because if Cat is not showing up, and I think he will versus the Pistons or versus anybody, I think the Knicks are in trouble if that was the case. But I would say Brunson. I would put Anunoby too as well. And then I would say Cat. Yeah. Cat and Mikal. But that's the beauty of this Knicks club. Anyone, like the whole starting five, they can beat you in many different ways. So.
Yeah, that's the way I would go too. I would go Cat, especially if he gets back. I mean, look, I know Cat has been, dealing with a lot of nagging injuries as well. He hasn't been rebounding the ball the way we saw him, especially earlier in the season and whatnot. But I think Cat is number 3, and if he finds that, that mojo again to be able to board the way he was going, 15, 16, 20 boards a night sometimes. I mean, that's the frustrating thing about it, right? We have so much talent on this team to be going through the roller coaster season that we've been through.
13 free throw attempts from Cat last game. You love that. San Antonio, he had 9. He didn't really get any help in that game. Charlotte, the team just was, just had no legs. That's the game where Thibs should have expanded his rotation. So Cat has been Cat though. Like lately, he's shown us signs that he's back. He's been Cat. The 3-point shot is back. He was 1 of 5 versus the Wizards, but prior to that, 2 of 4 versus the Hornets, 2 of 5 versus Spurs, 3 of 5 versus Miami, 3 of 5 at Golden State, and he had that big Golden State game where nobody showed up as well. So
yeah,
Cat is Cat. Like, he's offensively, I think he's gifted. He's the best big man shooting big in the league. And he's Cat. And Brunson takes some of that strain off of Cat, I'm not worried about, Cat, Chris. I've said it in the post game, I just want everyone to be healthy. The number one thing right now, you had 12 games remaining. The number one thing on my mind, Chris, is health.
Yeah.
Anunoby is about to play the most games in his career. Like, I need him to be fresh come playoff time.
Yeah.
I need Hart to be fresh. I need Bridges to be fresh. I need these guys to be fresh come playoff time. And because, come playoff time, the rotation's 7, 8.
Yeah.
Precious ain't playing. Precious ain't playing.
Not with what he's been giving lately. Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to talk about Precious, to be honest.
Yeah. So yeah, Precious ain't going to play. Then you got Hukporty on the horizon, and we just go from there. So I don't know why my TV just turned on. Hold on. Talk for a second, Greg. I got to turn this TV off.
Oh, man. TV's taking over. But, yeah, look, I think – guys, what are we thinking in the chat about Precious Achiuwa as of late? Give me some feedback on what you guys feel Precious Achiuwa has been giving us as of late on this New York Knicks squad. Has he checked out? And do you think Precious Achiuwa has checked out of this team?
Tony says, put up a poll, and who will be the best player for the Knicks in the playoffs. I'm gonna put that poll up. Regarding Precious, man, he has looked like he has been very poor for this team lately. And I went back watching just old highlights of Precious, Chris, especially last year where he provided us so much value off the bench. I just think it's a confidence issue. I do. I think it's a confidence issue. I think Precious is just in his own head right now. Crim's dad with the super chat. Appreciate you, Crim's dad. for teaching me about Glazers. Thanks. Oh,
Anytime.
man. Thumbs up for Crim's dad, man. That's hilarious. Hey, what's his name? Thought we were glazing Tom Thibodeau.
We were literally just bashing Tom Thibodeau.
We were bashing Thibs.
Seconds before
he said
that.
This channel is a bunch of Thibs glazers. He clearly hasn't checked out the post games or anything. I don't know who that is. He's an undercover hater. He said we were glazing Thibs. Okay. Shout out to you, Crim's dad. Shout out to you. That's hilarious. But Jared says Precious has no confidence. I think it's a confidence issue, Chris, because we've seen this season Precious Achiuwa dunk on people, play smartly, and the game versus the Hornets where he had a 2-on-1 fast break with Josh Hart, and he just decided to not pass the ball to Josh Hart and dribble back to the 3-point line. And
yeah, that was the big one for me.
I'm like, it's confidence with Precious, and I just don't think come playoff time he's gonna play. I don't. No, I take that back. I think he might, because we could be thin on the bench depending on our situation. But I just think it's gonna be go time come playoff time, and I just think he's in a confidence funk right now, Chris. And you brought PJ Tucker in here, and I want to see Tucker. Like, there's been times where I want to see Tucker over him, and maybe just Tucker's washed, like maybe. But I at least want to see it on the court, like, okay, Tucker's washed. That's why he's not playing him.
I mean, that's kind of a weird thing too, if you really think about it. I mean, obviously, look, when it comes to Precious, I think definitely his confidence is shot. I mean, he's taking some shots though that are really out of character, like these turnaround jumpers, like things that I normally haven't seen Precious do. But that was the big one that you mentioned. He had Josh Hart wide open in the paint, and he just dribbled it out. And even before that, I forget which game, Cat was on fire. I think he hit two or three shots in a row. Precious got the ball. They had a turnover, and then Precious waved off Cat, who was yelling at him like, "Give me the ball. I want to shoot this." And Precious was like, "Nah." Waved them off, and I believe it was like a turnover after that. But kind of weird, man. I hope Precious finds it, but you know, even with all that, Tibbs does not hesitate to go to Precious Achiuwa, which is kind of, I mean, I get it again, but it's kind of mind-boggling in my opinion when someone looks that checked out and they're just can't seem to do anything positive. You can't let him just stay out there, in my opinion. But isn't it kind of weird that we have these veterans, DeLon Wright, PJ Tucker, and they have not touched the court at all, other than like what, a few seconds in garbage time?
Loud and Clear says, do you have to see PJ Tucker being washed to believe it? I think I have to. I just want to see it. I just want to look. We saw it a little bit in garbage time a few games ago, but I just want to see it. I'm like, all right, you washed, bro. That's why he's not playing. But Precious, I mean, look, the Knicks play him with talent. It doesn't work. The Knicks play him with heart. When you have Hart, Precious on the court, I mean, the lineup with Hart and Precious, I mean, you're just so you're making it such an easy defensive assignment for teams. I mean, the guys can't shoot. You got to sag off of them. You're clogging up the lanes. So I just think Dibbs just has to adjust. And look, it's a shame because we saw Hukporti start to play more, and then he got hurt. So Hukporti this would have been Hukporti in those minutes, I think. So, but now you're thin, right? So Mitch is back, and Mitch looks phenomenal, by the way. So yeah, I just want to see PJ out there before I call him washed. But there's a high probability of PJ Tucker being washed. I'm not.
I mean, he hasn't played in like over what since the 2023. Since 2023, I believe he hasn't played. So he's definitely rested. I'll tell you that much. So who knows? Maybe he has a little bit of something. But isn't it funny how basically, you know, we chose Precious Achiuwa over Jericho Sims, and now would you want to go back and reverse that? Or do you think it doesn't matter at this point?
I don't think they chose him over Jericho Sims, Chris. Sims was making less than Precious, so Knicks just wanted wing depth. That's why they traded for a DeLon Wright. God forbid one of our wings were to go down, OG or Mikal, which we would never want. Knock on wood. So I just think it was more to do with that. And, Jericho Sims is now hurt, but he was playing well for them. So I just thought Knicks traded Sims with the impression that Hukporti was on the rise. Because Hukporti has been playing better than Sims all season long. So
yeah,
the Knicks traded Sims thinking like, look, we got Hukporti now. We don't need Sims. Let's get some wing depth in here. Let's do something. Let's make a trade. And that's why they traded for Wright. So Ron B says PJ is the alternative version of Taj Gibson. Prezi says call him Wash, bro. I got to see it, man. His sneaker game ain't washed, but he may be washed, guys. He may be washed. But I don't know.
Hey, I mean, Taj Gibson got burned on the Knicks. I mean, even at his old age.
Tony says, and Chris, what will be the bench rotation for the playoffs? For me, I would say Deuce, Mitch, Payne, TJ Warren, Kolek.
Tony knows something we don't know?
Yeah, you know something we don't know, Tony? TJ Warren's going to come in here and play in the meaningful playoff minutes? You think Coach Tibbs is doing that?
That would be crazy.
All right, here's your bench rotation. It's McBride, healthy. Everyone's healthy. It's McBride. It's Mitchell Robinson. It's Campaign. And I think that's it, Chris. I don't know. Shaman has looked bad these last couple of games. It's either Campaign or Shaman. Shaman has the size, better defender. But okay, Shaman.
I think we'll see Shaman. I think
he's gonna have a short leash, very short leash in the playoffs.
I could see that. See that. I saw something after the Charlotte game where someone on the media side for Charlotte was saying how the Knicks were raving about Landry Shaman and how he competes. So I was like, all right, well, he didn't really compete that game, but I think the Knicks like Landry Shaman a lot, regardless of what he's doing on the court, it seems.
Jay the Don says, I was at the Knicks versus Heat game at MSG on Monday, and everyone was chanting PJ Tucker during garbage time so Tibbs could play him. Then the next game, he plays him at Spurs when we were losing. Yeah, and Tucker didn't want to shoot there in that game. Fans love Tucker. He's become a fan favorite. Now, he was dabbing up Draymond a couple of weeks ago, so a lot of Knicks fans turned on him. But look, he's a veteran presence, Chris. He's been there, done that. He's a good voice in the locker room, and that's valuable to this basketball club.
Yeah.
And you can't really teach that stuff. So you love that. Even though he's cheering at the end of the bench, all that stuff is good because he's a confidence booster. And sometimes you need that, honestly. I know it sounds like corny and, you signed him to be a cheerleader at the end of the bench. But, look, we don't know what he's saying to these guys behind the scenes, in the hotel rooms, on the buses, on the planes. Like, that stuff is valuable to these players. So you can't really teach that stuff.
It's that veteran presence, that toughness. Granted, you're not getting that toughness on the court per se, but look, it could be times where guys have bad body language and he's like, yo, knock that off, like have some pride, whatever it is,
We glazing them, man.
Yeah, we're definitely getting, yeah. I'm gonna just leave it there. Tony
says, don't start glazing Landry Shaman. Kareem says Shams can't defend no one. He tries. A for effort for Landry Shamet. The thing is, he's been better. I know these last couple of games he's been terrible, and the season has just been a bad season for Shamet. he has improved over the past few weeks. He has started to hit his threes. He has, I know the last couple of games you don't see that, but he does do a lot of good things well out there. He does a lot of bad things well out there. I know a lot of people, like Brooklyn says in the chat, Shamet is trash, but you're working with what you got. You need kind of like that catch and shoot stuff off the bench, running off the curls, quick release stuff that Shamet provides. And if he hits a couple of threes, that'll be a big boost for us in a playoff series. Like a Bogdanovic last year. I remember, Chris, we were at the game, what was it, game 1 versus the 76ers, and like that presence off the bench is just so valuable. Like Bogdanovic was he kind of changed the flow in that game.
Yep.
And you don't really have that this year. You're just hoping for Payne to change the flow, or McBride. McBride was awesome last year as well in the playoffs. Man, I miss that bench punch, man. And hopefully Shamet can do that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think earlier in the season we were calling Shamet like a discount Devo, right? We were hoping that he was going to bring some of that,
Wait. Discount Devo.
Man, that wasn't. That did not age well.
He's a freed. Like, I don't even. I think that's disrespectful to Dante to call Shamet a discount Devo.
Yeah. I mean, the 3-point shot hasn't been what we expected it to be. That's for sure. Look, we weren't thinking he was gonna, shoot the rock like Dante DiVincenzo did for us the past year. But it's definitely been a disappointment. But look, you signed him to what? He's making like 1-2 mil or something like that. I mean, obviously, he's gotten better, but you'd like to see a little bit more out of Landry Shamet. I mean, but look, this is our bench, right? This is our bench. I think that's one of our biggest concerns going into the playoffs. But there's still a little bit of time where we can get better.
12 games, hopefully. Now we got Kolek, the point guard, the floor general. Got the poll up in the YouTube chat. Who will be the Knicks' best player in the first round of the playoffs? Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges. Jalen Brunson is winning that poll, 43%. Obviously, playoff Brunson. Chris is just a different animal. Man, oh man. Can't wait for JB to come back. We need the captain. It's a different animal. Isaiah says, don't you ever say that again, man. That's just disrespectful. Big Ragu Light. Dollar Tree Devo, man. Look, Chris. I think I was kind of on that train where I think Shamet can replicate Devo some. And look, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'll take the heat.
That didn't play out the way we'd hope.
Nah, man, that didn't. 12 games, man. Let's get it going.
12 games. Do you think the Knicks have the ability to make a move?
Where, in the summer?
No, this season. Can they still sign somebody? Let's say if they don't decide to keep PJ Tucker after this second contract, can they pivot and do Moses Brown?
They could.
Who seems to be destroying the G League. I think he had 28 points, 28 boards.
Yeah, and him and he's been awesome. But they could, but it's one of those scenarios where PJ Tucker signed another 10-day. They have an open roster spot. So that's why Tony was bringing up TJ Warren. But you really think they're going to sign TJ Warren for the rest of the season and he's going to play when we have 12 games left? You can think he's going to come in here and play valuable minutes in the playoffs? No.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I think it would be nice to pick up a Moses Brown and kind of have him.
It'll be nice.
For next year.
It'll be nice, but he's not going to play, Chris. He's not going to play. That's the reality of the situation. And Huck Porty, I think Loud and Clear asked about Huck Porty. They're saying that he's doing stuff behind the scenes, so he's getting back. Like he's doing stuff, and that's a step in the right direction. So hopefully we can get Huck Porty back. And, that's a positive sign. I mean, Huck Porty's doing stuff. Jalen Brunson's out of the boot. doing some light shooting. So 12 games left, Chris. I mean, where do you think Brunson? Do you think he comes back? I know they're talking about 4 games out being eligible from All NBA. Do you think it makes sense for him to come back? Especially if you lock up the 3rd seed and you clinch top 6. I've been thinking about this.
I guess it depends. He would have to physically play in the game for it to count, right?
Yeah.
Or would he just have to be
something
drafted?
like, I think you have to average. I don't think he can come into the game and just get subbed out really quick. I think you have to average a certain amount of minutes. I'm not sure about the language, but I don't know. I don't think it makes sense for him to come back because an ankle injury, you can re-aggravate that. You can re-aggravate that thing, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think if he feels that he's at the point where he can come back, I think he's going to come back no matter what. Because I do think they want him to get some reps in before the playoffs start. They don't want him just being cold and kind of trying to get rhythm back during the playoffs. But it is risky. It is risky, that's for sure.
It is something I've been thinking about. I don't know. Does he want that All NBA? Does he want that accolade? I think he'll get it. I think he will. I think he comes back, but they play him 15, 20 minutes. I don't think it's anything crazy. I don't think it's
ease him back into it.
Yeah, I don't think it's 30, 35. For what? I think he comes back. He plays 15, 10 minutes. You see more Kolek. Kolek is lighting it up. 10 assists, 15 assist games to close out the season.
Yeah.
Then we're going to start clamoring for Kolek playoff minutes. You got to play Kolek in the playoffs. You got to play him. That's what I see.
Man, I think when it comes to Brunson, though, even if it's 15 minutes, we all know Jalen Brunson's game, and he's just not going to go out there and kind of defer to anybody. He's going to want to compete and win, right? So he's going to be driving into the paint, getting knocked around. I mean, look, I'm not saying if he's ready, I say let him go. But it's going to be difficult, to kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, Donnell says, I think it definitely makes sense for him to just get some reps in before the playoffs. Concern is legit, though. Mitch re-aggravated his ankle last playoffs. And then Prezi brings up a good point. The way he plays, you don't want to risk it. All of that footwork, man. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it was a bad turn. I know the Knicks are being vague about the injury, but it was a really bad turn. And you just get him healthy for the playoffs. We have that break when the season ends. You got the play-in tournament. You have an extra week. So playoffs start April 19th, less than a month. Crazy. But, yeah, I'm just hoping that he comes back. And then it's a different – we're singing a different tune. I know when the playoffs are starting, Chris, I know we're going to be – all up in our Knicks gear and, hey, we going far, Eastern Conference Finals, screw the Pistons. And then we lose game 1. Nah. Chill.
No, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We just got to enjoy the ride, man. We got to enjoy the ride, and let's see how it ends up. But still 12 games to go. Knicks 3 games away from locking up the 3 seed.
Yeah.
A lot of positives to take from this season thus far. Obviously, not everything has gone the way we'd like it to go. But that's how it goes. These are the growing pains. And again, not looking into the future per se, but this is year 1 of this core. So I think things will get better. Things will get better.
Things will get better. Got a couple of images to show you guys. So Knicks with 2,500 rebounds and 300-plus steals. Patrick Ewing, Carmelo Anthony, Charles Oakley, Kurt Thomas, and Mitchell Robinson. Shout out to Big Mitch, man.
Shout out to Mitch. Can I take a second just to say to everybody that thought Mitch was done and wasn't going to be any type of an impact, what do you got to say now?
It was always durability for me, Chris. It was always durability with Mitch. Last night, Mikal Bridges surpassed 8,000 career points. Yeah, Mitch has been awesome, Chris, by the way. I didn't want to just fly over that. He's been
I know you fought me on it too. I was like, yo, Mitch is good. Mitch is a big piece of it. I know the health stuff, but look, Mitch has been great so far, and let's hope he stays healthy.
Exactly. Let's hope he stays healthy. Got some quotes from Mikal Bridges. Let's just put this in the chat really quick. Mikal Bridges on his first Knicks season. Okay. Pretty good. ... Could always be better. But we're really showing great improvement throughout the year. Nobody's in there with us every single day in practice. But I could see the growth from everybody as a team. Okay. Shout out to Mikal. Staying positive.
Any thoughts on that?
I have to hear it. I didn't hear it. Obviously, I read it kind of in a dour mood. I have to hear it. But look, Mikal's been in the media. Went up to Tom Thibodeau, and he's always gonna have that attached to his back now. So I'm just like, if he's hitting his shots, Chris, this Knicks team is a tough team to beat. That's all I gotta say. Because defensively, he has improved.
I agree.
So yeah. All right, trivia. Easiest trivia question, by the way, Chris.
Oh man.
Those of you in the chat, we do trivia every single week. I thought about Tyler Kolek with this one. Not saying Kolek can become Linsanity, but Kolek Sanity? No, that doesn't go together. Kolek Sanity? No, it doesn't go together. All right. Easy question, Chris. Super easy. At the peak of Linsanity, which team did Jeremy Lin defeat with a last-second game-winning shot? Is it A, Raptors, B, Lakers, C, Hornets, or D, the Nets?
Man, in my mind, I clearly remember a big three against the Lakers, but I don't remember it. I don't think it was a last-second shot. I'm already seeing A's in the chat. Isaiah loud and clear say A. And I don't remember anything with the Hornets or the Nets when it comes to Jeremy Lin.
He had a good game versus Brooklyn. I think that was one of his. I think it was one of his first games. First couple of games, he had a good game versus Brooklyn. Then he had a good game versus the Lakers that I was at, actually.
Ooh, that's the one that he went at, Kobe.
Yeah. No, the Dallas one. I went to the game versus Dallas. Yeah, it was Dallas. I think J.R. Smith, that was his first game from overseas. That was a good game.
You know what? I see a lot of A's in the chat. I'm gonna go with A, Raptors. I'm gonna go with the chat.
Yes is A. Chris, this was a layup.
I guess the one for me that
you don't remember him.
It's the Kobe factor. That 3-point shot he pulled up on the Lakers.
You don't remember him sizing up Jose Calderon, and Calderon was guarding him.
Yeah, now that you say Jose Calderon, yeah. Okay.
And he hit a shot from, I think, the logo a little bit. Melo was on the bench. He didn't play.
He didn't clap either.
No, come on. Don't do that. Don't do that. He was clapping.
That was the drama back then.
He was clapping for him. And then when he hit that, that's when the NBA was insanity.
That was a heck of a time, man. And Jeremy Lin going off after not getting any burn.
Kolek sanity. It's coming.
I mean, look, isn't that the perfect story to kind of show you, like, you just know what you have on the bench? This guy was living with Landry Fields, sleeping on his couch, and became an overnight sensation, basically.
Yeah, Donnell says, I was watching that Knicks-Dallas game with JR's debut live. Yeah, I was at that game. It was like a 12 p.m. game. And J.R. Smith, I was so happy with his debut, and it was awesome. It was a fun time. Half court three, 30 feet. Keith says in the chat. Loud and clear says, I still got that Linsanity hat. I think I have a shirt. Tony says Melo was mad Lin jersey sales passed his.
Oh man, that was fun times, man.
It was. I'm telling you, 12 games left. Kolek sanity, baby. Let's go.
3 games to clinch that 3 seed.
Yes.
You think it happens? I think it happens.
Well, magic number is 3 to clinch top 6. So I still do think they're going to clinch 3. I think it happens, Chris. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
Unless
I
the Knicks just, like, we got the Mavs this week. Like, I think Anthony Davis may be coming back, but I think we're going to clinch 3. I don't know. Anybody named Landry is trash. Fields, Shamit. Then people was hating on Melo so hard, and all he did was support Lynn. People was just yapping. Keith says 8-4 finish. What you got, Chris?
8-4 finish. I gotta take a look at the schedule.
I got it right now. Hold on. Hold your horses. End of the pod. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Subscribe, like, all the good stuff. Really appreciate you guys giving us your time on this Sunday evening. It's not terrible, but it has some games mixed in there where, like, Dallas, Clippers, Bucks could be a first-round opponent for us. Blazers, Sixers, Quentin Grimes going to drop 45 on us. At Cleveland. Cleveland could have the number 1 seed locked up. Or not. Right? I don't think they will at that point. So we probably won't have Brunson. Obviously, that's going to be a game that everyone's going to, like, magnify. Yeah. But Atlanta, Phoenix, Boston. We have Boston twice, if I'm not mistaken. No, Boston once, Cleveland twice. So
Detroit sprinkled in there as well.
Yeah. Final week of the season. It could be a matchup preview, which I don't think no one's going to play, especially if we have everything locked up. So,
man, what do you got?
All right, I'm finding it
hard.
Win versus Dallas. I say
we get Dallas and LA for sure. I think we owe LA.
Okay, 2-0 at Milwaukee, 2-1 versus Portland, 3-1,
3-1,
4-1,
4-1,
4-2,
4-2, 5-2.
I'll be safe.
4-3. I think Atlanta's missing a bunch.
Okay, so 5-2, 5-3, Phoenix. I'll be safe. 5-4, and then this final 3 games, I think they could win because I don't think people are going to be playing. So 7-12 games left. It could be 7 it could be 8-4, Chris, something like that. 7-5, something like that. And then with that,
go with that.
You need 6 more games to reach 50 wins. So
I think we could get the 50 wins. I do.
Yeah, I do. So there's your schedule. There it is. All right, guys. Appreciate every single one of you tuning in tonight. Episode 101 of the Knicks Nation podcast. Subscribe, like, all the good stuff. Hit the Apple, Spotify. Hit us up on the audio side. It's been fun, Chris. It's been fun.
Fun talking Knicks.
Fun talking Knicks. Have a great night. Have a great week. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation.
I'm Chris.
We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.